Hi, ladies. What's going
What's goody? What's goody?
on?
What's goody?
Happy Monday.
Oh, yes. Happy
What? The
Monday.
start of the
For
week.
us, it's
Start of the
Monday.
week.
Just for me, it's the last day of my weekend. That's how I
Ah,
roll.
yes.
Must be nice.
It is. I can't lie. That 3-day weekend is always nice. But, sometimes a 4-day work week, 10 hours can be a little bit long.
Yeah, I can see that.
But it's all right, though. I enjoy the weekend.
Big
Excuse
facts.
me.
Well, before we get into how the weekend went,
Mhm.
I don't know why this always seems to be something that trips us up. But for the people,
Hmm.
welcome to CoCo Convos Pod.
Yes, hello. Introductions. The one thing we cannot seem to get 100%
Facts.
right. Yes.
Hello, people. Welcome back. We
Oh,
missed y'all. It's been a little bit. So, this
Yes.
is your girl, Lise.
Yay, what's up? This is Drea.
and this is Chloe.
Oh, snap. She gave us a different one today. All
Mm-hmm.
the
Okay.
Gotta keep you
varieties.
surprised. Gotta keep you on your toes.
Look, we never know what to expect.
Right, I
But
love
I like it. I
it.
like it.
Mm-hmm.
Now, how was y'all weekend?
Oh, it's good. That's all I got.
Mine was.
I was like, wait a minute.
It's good.
I'm
Right.
like, is that
I
The
thought you was
pause
it?
in
gonna
their
say
face
something
is
else.
like,
But
and
your mouth was still open. So that's why I was like
oh, my bad.
You had me confused. I didn't know if I should go
right.
Yeah,
or
no, that's on me. That's
wait.
on me. Oh, well, okay. So yeah, we actually did have a good time. Some family, my in-laws came back from Cali to visit. They had a function and they were in town, so we all had dinner at my mother and father-in-law's place, and it was a good time.
Very nice.
Yes, we enjoyed it and we laughed a lot and had some good times. Man, the bugs was out though, bruh.
The
But other than that, though, it was a really great time. How about y'all?
bugs is in full effect for the summertime.
For real. Mosquitoes. I cannot with the
Mm-mm.
mosquitoes. And they love me. I hate it. It's awful. What about you?
Well, my weekend was great. All my plans were
Oh,
canceled, and I didn't do nothing all day Saturday, but laid in the bed and binge watched movies and TV shows until like sometime in the AM. And then Sunday, I did a little bit more of that, except for I got a little bit more of the some of the chores I wanted to get done. But other than that, oh, it was nice to relax because last weekend was super busy, and this coming weekend is going to be super busy. So
get that
Okay,
rest in.
summertime Chloe.
Mm-hmm. Booked and
yeah,
busy.
Okay.
booked and busy.
Well, our weekend was
Lisa,
good. We bought a house.
Congratulations.
Super excited. Thank you.
Moving on up
Moving on up
to the east side.
to the east side.
you should have threw us a little bomb
You
for that,
right. You
Dre.
right. I'm so sorry. I'm slacking on the soundboard. We'll get it together one day. I need to get that.
But yeah, we
Mm.
bought a house and went and checked on it, and
Yay.
all is well. It's crazy. We've gotten closures now. The walls are up. They're starting to work on the garages, but they haven't made it to our particular house just yet. So, yeah, man, super stoked. Well, the reason for today's episode, y'all, you already know our beloved Chloe
Yes.
has been going through it. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
That she has
Preach.
been taking us along her journey. Um, this is definitely a long awaited, anticipated update.
Yes.
We're going to go ahead and jump right in. Chloe has been doing some good things since her surgery.
Yes, she has.
How you feeling, Chloe?
Yeah. I'm feeling pretty good. Um, I feel like, yes, while things have been great, emotions are a little mixed about some things. So we'll get to
Yeah.
that. But let me start with the surgery I got. I'm pretty sure I mentioned this in the first part, that I was getting surgery to remove the endometriosis last year, September 2022, which I did. Let me say the experience was far better than when I got my fibroids
Mm.
removed. But of course, it was a it was way less invasive than the surgery I got when I had my fibroids removed.
Good.
Um,
Because I remember that
yeah,
for
because
you.
it was
That was rough.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it really was. I mean, they give you a C-section cut when you get the fibroids removed. Well, that's what I had to get when I had my fibroids removed. So that was a long
Dang.
recovery.
And weren't you out for like
Um,
6 weeks too?
I was out for
My
2 months
goodness.
Yes. Yeah.
from
Practically
work.
like having, well, maternity leave is longer than that, but still,
Mm.
that
Hmm.
half the time.
If you're fortunate, maternity leave is longer.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, but with the endometriosis, it's why am I drawing a blank with the what the surgery is called? The one where they go in with the cameras and stuff and the tools. They just put a
Like a
few holes.
laparoscopic.
Laparoscopic. It was a laparoscopic surgery, so it was way better. I even got to leave the
Oh,
hospital the same
nice.
day.
Oh, good.
Very different
Yeah,
experience.
whereas I mean, it took a long time because I had to wait until I could pee, and I couldn't pee
Mm.
for hours. Like I should have been out of there probably like 5 p.m. and I didn't get to go home till like
Oh,
10
damn.
p.m.
Dang.
It just
They
took
had
so
you
long, but
dehydrated.
thank God I had my sisters. Yeah, thank God I had my well, it's the organs trying to work
Right.
again per
Yeah.
normal. It's weird. It's like your organs and stuff get disrupted and they don't function like they would on a day-to-day
Look, your
basis.
organs was put
Yeah,
under just like you. They
right.
stolen. Like,
Like
what
you
just
gotta
happened?
wake them back
Mm-hmm.
up. Wake the bladder
Right.
back up. I'm like, why am I always having these problems? Because when I had my my fibroid surgery, I ended up spending an additional day in the hospital. I think it was a total of 3 days. An additional day because I couldn't fart and then I couldn't pee.
Dang.
So
God, dog.
I'm like, dang, my body just don't be wanting to wake up after these
Mm-hmm.
procedures. So yeah, it was a delayed me leaving the hospital that day because of that. But thank God I had my two sisters with me, which is
Yeah.
great. My oldest sister came out from
Oh, the
Arkansas, and my middle
love.
sister, she lives here. She took off work to be there, and I'm so glad because both of them had each other to hang out with while waiting on
Yeah,
me.
you was there all day.
Um, right, waiting on me to be able to well, first wake
Mm-hmm.
up from the anesthesia, then waiting on me to be able to pee for hours.
Dang.
Um,
We just need you to pay. Go
but it
pay.
was
But
right.
at least
It
you had
wasn't a
them two for
horrible.
company.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Yeah.
comforting to have someone there.
Yeah.
Nothing
Yes.
like good sisterly
Very much.
love.
Yes. Very much. And they come in and they're like, she did really well. And we're just in there. What do they mean when they say that? Like, what am I
You
supposed
laid
to
there and
do
took it very
when
well.
I'm under?
I think they just mean
Like, it's so confusing.
that your body responded well to the
Mm-hmm.
surgery.
No
Okay, yeah,
complications.
because like several people came in and said that. We're like, what does that mean
Mm-hmm.
exactly? Even when I woke up, it was so funny when I woke up. Like last time from the anesthesia, I woke up immediately, but this time I I kept drifting back off. But the nurse is like, "Hello, wake up!" And she was feeding me
Oh.
ice. So that was kind of nice, but it's
Girl,
just
in the hospitals
it's
be having
funny.
that good ice too.
Hmm.
Hmm. I was just, do you want more ice on me? Hmm.
Keep it coming, ma'am. Keep it
Mm-hmm.
coming.
Yeah, but yeah, it ended up being an all day event. And like I said, thank God my sisters were there, and thank God they had each other to hang
Yeah.
out with all day long because I got there in the morning didn't leave till 10. And I did have some negative experiences though, as far as the hospital
Mm,
staff. Um, so I needed, I had problems with bleeding forever.
Right.
And then went into my surgery with that. And I'm like, can I get like, they make you put on the hospital stuff. I'm like, can I get a pad or something? Oh, we don't have any over here, which was fine at the time because I wasn't bleeding enough to be bleeding all over
mm-hmm.
the place. But after the surgery, no one got me anything. So I literally stood up and then just a pool of blood on the floor and ran down my leg.
Oh.
And my sisters were like, what the hell? And so this other more experienced nurse came in and she was like, I don't know what they're doing, but this is not
Mm-mm.
okay.
Right.
So she like helped me get
You're
cleaned up
supposed
and
to be
stuff.
pulling blood anywhere, okay? Mm-mm.
Right. And got me some underwear and a pad to put on. Cause I'm like, what? Y'all just got me bleeding all over myself. What is going
Mm-mm.
on? She was like, these new nurses, she's like, I'm gonna have to say something about he needs some more
Mm-hmm.
training.
It's a doggone
Which
hospital
clearly
for
he
crying
did.
out loud. You mean to tell me that y'all don't have some Depends or something that you could have put on me?
Right. I'm like, and if y'all didn't have any in the area, y'all
Went and
should have
got
went
it.
and got some. She wouldn't
Exactly.
have
Because
found
I
any
can't
Yeah.
from.
imagine you're the only
Yeah. And
one.
I wish I could have written a review or something on her. I didn't have anything, but I was like, lady, you are like the best nurse I've ever had. I told her that she did everything she could to help me pee
Mm,
too. Went and got me warm water, like
mm,
Mm.
everything. So some of the nurses, yeah, y'all was slacking with your little
mm-mm.
job. But anyway, after I got home, of course, I was in a lot of pain the first night, but significantly improved like the next day, which was crazy to me. I was not
Mm.
expecting that. The only thing that was the issue on like day two, and they warned me about I follow a lot of endometriosis pages on Facebook, and that was pretty much the consistent warning across the board from a lot of other women is the worst part was the gas pain you get in your shoulders.
Ooh.
Yeah. Oh, it
Mm.
did hurt. I was like, what in the? I was like, this must be that gas pain they was talking about. Thank God I had got me one of those heating pads for the shoulders, so that helped a lot. And the Gas X, which was recommended,
I did not
but it
know
was
that you could have gas pains outside of like the stomach and like, your booty,
Mm.
like I never
Like shoulder
I
gas
have
pain.
never
Yeah, no,
heard
I'm
no
tripping too.
shoulder gas pain before.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it was really weird.
Learn
It was
learn
really
something new
weird,
every
but it
time.
hurt. Yeah, it does not feel good. So it's good to have, be prepared with the heating pad and your Gas X for those of you who may have to experience this at
Mm.
some
Mm.
point.
Some good
So
tips.
I feel like that was the worst part. Um, I feel like my friends were so great throughout this and very supportive. Like everybody was sending me like get well gifts, and my family, and I still got a lot of my little stuffed
Aw.
animals. They're actually right here on the couch with me.
Oh.
And I love the one I got. My parents gave me. It's like a bear that was dressed as Wonder Woman. So I was like, oh, that was sweet.
That's
Look,
cute.
And then
Me
the
and Bailey was gonna drive down and check on you, but
Mm.
you had a
yeah,
full
but
house.
Lisa tried to Lisa tried to come down, and I was like, no, I don't want to trouble you. My
Girl,
sister will
please.
be here.
Ain't no
Mm-mm.
trouble.
But yeah, lots of family, familial, and friend support, which I really appreciated. And my sister Lashana had me some soup, chicken noodle soup prepared
Man.
already, so it was great.
Shouts out
Um,
to the sisters.
Yes.
yeah, shout out to the
Mm-hmm.
sister, shout out to the
Yeah.
friends. I had people giving me DoorDash stuff to get
Aw.
food. Everything was great, but I had 2 weeks off. I didn't mention that part. It was 2 weeks off for this procedure, which it was enough. I didn't think it would be, but it was. Like I said, the recovery was much quicker than I expected. But I mean, still, even when you go back to work, because I sit down all day, I needed to get up and walk around probably like every hour or two, which I wasn't doing very good at because, while you're working, you get
Yep.
distracted. But yeah, there was still, I needed to be getting moving a little bit. But that's pretty much my experience with the
Now, how
surgery.
do you feel now? Now that it's been several months since the surgery.
Um, I feel like ever since I got on birth control, even before the surgery, I've been feeling pretty
Mhm.
good because the birth control stopped my periods and I wasn't experiencing that pain anymore. But when was it? This year in about April, because I've still had problems with like the continuous bleeding from continuous birth control usage with the pills. And so I was switching to another one in April, and I was like, I'm going to take a week off to just have a period because I was curious, like, okay, what's it going to feel like? Unfortunately, it felt
Ooh,
worse.
mistakes were made.
Yeah, and the period hadn't even started. Like, I wasn't bleeding at that time. Like, my bleeding had stopped when I stopped the other birth control and was trying to, transition to another one. But oh my gosh, the pain. Remember the rectal pain I was
Yeah.
having? It was so bad. Like I was in a one-on-one with my manager at the time. I was like, "Yeah, I'm not feeling very well. I think I'm gonna have to call it a day early today." I was like, "I'm having some pain," and we're like trying to close out the
Hmm.
conversation, and I almost made a loud noise. Like the pain got that intense. I was like, all right, I gotta go."
Oh
He's like, "All right."
no.
I was like, "What the
And I feel like that's
fuck is
tough too when
this?"
you have a male manager because you don't want to necessarily disclose the exact
The
pain that
juicy
you're feeling.
details.
Right.
I don't need
To
all
be
the
like, look at
details.
here, sir, I'm feeling some pain in my butthole. They're not going
Right.
to understand like the way that the woman's body functions as to why you're
Mm-mm.
having that kind of pain.
Yeah, and although like I haven't disclosed like where the pain is, I definitely disclosed like what's been going on
Right.
with me.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't care. I'm gonna like, a lot of women have decided to handle it that way. From what I've learned, they're like, I just told
Hmm.
my manager, male or woman, like they need to know why I need to log
Hmm.
off from work, like what kind of serious problems I'm
Yeah.
having. So I definitely told
Hmm.
him, and people in general just need to know more about endometriosis. Cause I'm like, you got some of these women, their husbands or their significant others, they don't understand the kind of pain that they're in to the point where they're so selfish. Them not getting sex is like ruining their
Hmm.
relationship. They would rather their wives or their girlfriends, because for some people, sex is really painful. They would rather them deal with the pain for them to get off than for them to understand just how bad the pain, like, I'm just like, if I ever had a partner like that, I'm sorry, it would be a
Yeah,
wrap.
for
Yeah,
sure.
that's really disrespectful.
But very, and I'm like, and I think part of it is people, they don't have an understanding of how intense and how bad the pain
Hmm.
is. They think more of, well, I've experienced this kind of pain or I've experienced that kind of pain. And I'm like, that kind of pain that you experienced is the same kind of pain, like, oh, back pain or this pain. I know what the fuck that
Hmm.
feels like. And that doesn't even touch
Right.
endometriosis pain. Like, especially if someone tells you endometriosis is one of the top 5 most painful medical conditions, that should be all that
Hmm.
needs to be said. So, um, but yeah, I realized the pain wasn't over, and I pretty much still have to live on birth control in order to not be in
Mm.
pain. So that's really unfortunate. Um, and like during the surgery, part of the doctor had the gastroenterologist on standby in case I had it on like in my on my rectum or like on my intestines or something, and he said he didn't see any there. But I'm like, I'm still feeling that pain in the same place, so it had to be missed, or I don't know. And it can be missed. Like endometriosis is not always obvious. They can't see it as obviously all the time because it can be black, which is obviously that's the easiest way
Hmm.
to find it. But it could also be white or like kind of clear, like very hard to identify,
Hmm.
very hard to see. So I'm feeling like that might have been missed, but I do have a follow up appointment this week, and I will be discussing that.
Yeah, because
I'm just
that's
like,
no way to live to have to rely on birth control to not be in pain.
Hmm.
yeah, and I'm just like, well, what if I try to get pregnant or something? I have to be off birth control, but I can't live with that every month, that type of
Yeah.
pain, or be taken off work once a month for a day or two. and the pain is just
Well,
excruciating.
in my mind, I don't know what that feels like. Maybe you've heard other women talk about it on the different like forums and things, but how does that work with being pregnant and having endometriosis? Do this symptoms subside because you're not having a
Menstrual
period,
cycle.
or does it intensify because you are growing a human being? You know, you get those aches and pains just from the simple fact of being pregnant.
Mm.
Hmm. I think most people, the pain subsides because you're not having a
Okay.
period.
Well, at least that's a blessing
Yeah.
then.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
yeah. But I'm like, to get there, you got to have a
Mm.
period.
Very true. Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. So I'm like, who wants to deal with that?
So, quick question. Did you find the right birth control immediately for people who might be curious about that?
Did I find the right
Like,
birth
did you
control, you
have
said,
to start
immediately?
experimenting with different forms of birth control to kind of get you comfortable, feeling better?
Oh, I see what you're saying. No, I felt
Oh,
better
okay.
immediately after I started taking birth
Like the
control.
first version of birth control you took was the one that worked for
Mm-hmm.
you. That's cool.
Yeah. Just like trying to skip my periods, which, yes, I've been skipping my like regular periods, but still been experiencing like just the bleeding, the breakthrough
Mm.
bleeding. But there's no pain with that, thank
Yeah.
God. So, but I did have this procedure done. I had it done after my surgery called an HSG, where if you're considering having kids, that's their way to kind of check your fertility to see if your tubes are blocked or anything, which mine weren't blocked, thank
Yay.
God.
Amen.
Um, it wasn't that bad, but then this I had to get it done again. Um, they wanted me to go back, and so I finally went back to get it done when once I had a window where I
Mm.
wasn't bleeding. And that's what my follow up appointment is for on Friday. But oh Lord Jesus, like it's not the worst pain. And I kind of had some anxiety going into it because I was on the endometriosis pages and I had been seeing people mention, like, oh my God, it was the worst pain I've ever experienced. I
Oh,
screamed and
damn.
I was like, okay, it wasn't like that for me the first time, but now I'm kind of scared. Like, what if it's like that for me the
Mm.
So
second time?
wait, maybe I blacked out. Did you describe what this? I know you said what the test is, but how do they administer this test? Or like, what's the procedure?
They put a catheter in your uterus and then put this contrast in there so they can see inside the
Oh no,
uterus.
nigga.
So like every time they
I
put the
cannot. Oh no, nigga. Sorry.
surprisingly getting the catheter in didn't feel bad. Like you barely feel that. But the contrast is where the problem lies.
Hmm.
Every time they put the contrast in, it feels like they're inducing really bad period cramps.
Mm.
Mm.
And so you got to sit there and be breathing through it. Like, and they're just like, breathe, breathe, breathe. I'm like, and they let you know when another one's coming. Kind of makes me think of when people are going through labor and they're like, another
Hmm.
contraction's
Mm-hmm.
coming. Yeah, they let you know every
How
time
many times do they do that?
you're going to feel that pain. So by the time I was done, I was sweating.
I'm sure, man.
Mm-mm.
How often did
Good.
they do it though? Like, was it a one,
She
two
said I
pump?
was sweating.
Got
I
that
was
real
sweating
pain
from
though.
all.
All your crevices, because the
Mm.
way that this describes, girl, I would have been dripping from head to toe. Did you hear
Juicy
me?
booty.
Yeah,
Booty
my
crack.
forehead was all sweaty. Because you know when you're in bad pain, you be
Mm-hmm.
cringing.
Yeah.
Got that booty juice.
Like my forehead was all sweating and stuff. I was like, whoo, I was like, it's hot. Because to answer your
Mm.
question, Dre, about how often they do it. So like I had to lay flat first. She had to do probably about 3 times with me laying
Mm.
on my back. Then she had me to turn slightly to the left. She had to do it
Mm.
again. Then I had to turn slightly to the right to get a different angle. She had to do it again. Then I had to lay on my stomach for her to do it again. The stomach was probably the best one. I didn't feel it as much
Mm.
on the stomach, but it still hurt. But it's quite a few times where they gotta be putting this contrast in there and for you to be feeling like you're getting bad cramps
Fuck.
induced.
I'm sorry.
It's a relatively short procedure, maybe about 10
Mm.
minutes.
Okay. Okay.
But geez, like it just
Yeah.
sucks.
I was like, oh, I had no idea. The way you made it sound when we were talking about it before, it did not sound like that.
Yeah, it wasn't that bad the first time. And this time it was still bearable. But nobody likes period cramps and nobody likes bad
Mm-mm.
period
Right.
cramps. So to have them induced every time they put the stuff in there, like it's like, oh
Now,
Jesus, can we hurry up and
when
get
the
done with
procedure
this?
is over, are you fine or do you still feel like the cramping afterwards?
You still feel some cramping. It wasn't intense cramping though. It's like immediately when they're done, that's
Okay.
over.
Okay.
So it starts calming
But you may
down.
still feel some mild, yeah, you may still feel some mild cramping, and then some if you weren't bleeding before they started, which I wasn't actually. You'll bleed some. So they have like pads and stuff prepared for you. And I get to take my favorite socks home. I love the hospital socks. They're so comfy.
Girl, and they got the little knobs on the bottom to
Yeah,
keep
so
you
no
from
slip.
slipping.
Yes. And now they're blue. They're blue now. Remember they used to be like
The
gray?
ones I've gotten before are bright ass yellow. It's not
Yeah,
cute.
they still got them yellow
Like,
socks.
ooh.
But I have seen the
Mine
blue
are nice
ones. But yeah, they
blue.
still got them yellow socks, girl. They ain't going nowhere.
Dang it.
Oh gosh. I never had the
Nah,
yellow.
they
I had
be
gray. I had gray
bright.
before and now I got blue. But I was mad because I left my pair at my mom's house in Louisiana. My mom's like, somebody left their socks. And she
Uh-huh.
I
claimed
No
know
they
that's
more
missing.
right.
yours.
I was like, wow. Yeah. I was like, well, good thing I'm going back. I'm
I
getting me a new pair.
can't.
So the last time they let me know you can keep the socks or put them in the basket, whichever you choose. This time she didn't say anything. So I was like, do I get to keep these still?
Girl, I still would have took them. Ain't nobody got to
Mhm.
ask no
They
permission.
ain't gonna put them back on nobody's feet.
Right.
They just gonna
What they
throw them
gonna do?
away.
Chase you down?
Mhm. I wonder what they do with the ones though that
They
people
throw them away.
put in the basket. Yeah, well, I'm
Yeah, I
keeping
was
my
like, there's
socks
no way
every
they're gonna
time
put
because they
that back on
comfy.
anybody else's feet. They gotta have sterile
One could
stuff.
hope.
I mean, they could though. They still use the same
Yeah,
gowns.
that's
Yeah, they
different
just
though.
wash them.
I don't know. I feel like
Yeah,
the socks is.
just as long as they ain't draws.
Yeah, that's why the drawers are disposable most of the time.
I was just about to say they should be. I-
Oh man,
Jesus.
Has it,
and
have things gotten that bad in the hospital to where they having to reuse draws?
No, I do not
oh my
think so.
god,
I think we're in the clear on that.
One
Okay.
can hope.
right.
That's all you can do.
But yeah, like that's the procedure. Oh, and when you get off the table, they give you like a towel to put between your legs because when you get off the table, it's just so much like the lubricant they put in there and then the blood, like you don't want to be dripping all over the floor. And it takes a lot of wiping up to get all that
Mm-hmm.
stuff out or you can put your clothes on and leave. Like, Jesus.
You
Just
up in
sitting
there
there
bearing
It's just
down.
juicy.
messy.
Right, just
Just
juicy,
messy.
need bearing down to push
Mm.
it out.
You gotta walk to the bathroom though with the freaking towel or blanket between your legs.
What they need to
It's just
do
such an
is
awkward
have
thing.
bidets in that bad boy. So get up in there,
Man.
They need to.
wash that
They
stuff on
really
out
need
that
to.
thing.
Mm-hmm.
That would be nice. But yeah, so if y'all ever have to get this procedure, and the great news about it too, though, if you do ever have to get this procedure and you're trying to get pregnant, a lot of women have had success getting pregnant right after getting this done because it clears all the stuff out of your uterus. It clears your
Right.
tubes out.
Somebody you know who had the tubes cleared and then
Hmm.
they like got almost immediately pregnant
Yeah.
thereafter.
Look,
So
Chloe, come on now.
Yeah, most people
mm-hmm.
get pregnant within like 3 months. So I'm like, even though it's not the most comfortable procedure,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's worth it in that sense. But I'm gonna guess that my tubes aren't blocked again because it was pretty much the consensus on the endometriosis page that people that had that extreme pain like that, their tubes were blocked.
Oh.
The ones that were like screaming their heads off in pain. I was
Yeah.
like, ooh, I don't even want to know what that feels
For
like.
real. Oh.
But I did have a conversation with the lady about it too. I was like, I kind of have anxiety because I was like, it didn't feel that bad the first time, but I keep seeing people say how painful it was and they screamed. And she basically was like, that's the problem with those pages. Like, although they do give a lot of helpful information, The only ones you're going to hear talk about that are the ones that had the bad experience.
Mm-hmm.
And she said that's probably only about 5%. She was like, in my 10 years, I have rarely seen someone be in that much pain during this procedure. So she kind of put my mind at ease before. But again, it did hurt more than the first time.
Yeah.
So, what us ladies have to go through.
For
It's some
real.
bull.
It
Mm-hmm.
is some bull. Well, since then though, I've been trying to kind of get my life together health wise, even though it's been the biggest struggle I've ever had in my entire life with trying to lose weight and trying to get, like, it's never been this difficult for me ever. And I think because it's so hard now, it's just mentally been making it harder for me to want to stay consistent because it's like, geez, like you almost want to give up when you're not seeing the results that you're. It's always been a little bit more difficult for me, and maybe this is why, and I never knew.
Right.
But it's hard to stay on top of it. But it was before my surgery. I started going to F45 with my sister, and I don't know if y'all familiar with
Yep.
F45.
Mm-hmm. We have a couple out here in Colorado.
Lisa, why you say it like
Girl,
that?
because I've seen they ads and I'm like, oh my God.
Whooping that
Not gonna lie to
ass.
you, it's a tough
Yeah, like
program.
it's extremely intense is what I mean.
It is very intense. But funny enough, that's like the type of programs I'm used to putting myself through. I don't know why I do it. Like, remember, Dre, when I did that kickboxing with Tammy?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that was no
I
joke.
started it with y'all, and then I was like, "Yeah, I'm good. Thank you, thank you for your time. Appreciate
I'm
that."
still saying I'm proud of myself. It was 10 weeks. I had perfect
You
attendance
did
6
that
days a
too.
week.
You sure did.
But when I tell you I've never been so exhausted in my life at the end of that, like my third and final fitness test, I did worse than I did on the first one because I was so exhausted.
Oh
Because it
no.
was like 6 or 7 days a week, wasn't it? It was crazy.
Yeah, it was 6 days a week.
Yeah, no, I was like, later for that, I'm good. And I feel like you were so burnt out after that for a minute.
I was. I was like, I will never do that again. I remember you telling me, like, yeah, you don't need to work out that hard unless it's like part of what you do for a living.
I was like, see, there's no reason to train that hard unless you're like going for something.
Right.
You know, but even then, you can't sustain that kind of training very much. So, for very
No,
long,
45
even
minutes
athletes
a
take a
day.
break. So,
45 minutes a day. The cardio days were really intense. And I loved the strength training days. Those were all with fitness bands. But yeah, I'll never do that again. It was too much. But F45, me and my sister were going together. The classes started at 5:15 in the morning, which it wasn't hard. Anytime I have a partner, I'm just extra motivated. It's easy for me to do what I need to do.
yeah.
It's harder when I got to rely on myself, but I need to get past that. But we were going to our classes, and I started noticing, it's an intense workout, and mostly it happened on the cardio days where I started feeling like this intense burning sensation in my stomach. I was like, what the hell is that? Like, I would literally have to stop and just breathe, take some deep breaths until it went away, and then get started again. And then it may start burning again, and then I would have to do the same thing. And I'm like, what is going on? So I ended up, I think I might have did some research or something, and I might have seen something about it, but I called my doctor and asked, and then the nurse got back with me, and she was like, yeah, it's from the inflammation, and it's irritating the inflammation. So, like, a lot of people with endometriosis have a lot of inflammation in their body. And so that kind of intense working out inflames it and makes it worse.
I could see that.
Which also, yeah, and also having a lot of inflammation makes it really difficult to lose weight. So that's when I was like, okay, it's not just me. Because I did that program for 2 months. And my sister was seeing results, and I did not lose not 1 pound in the whole 2 months. And I was like, I'm not about to kill myself and not see any results. So that was really frustrating because I was like, those workouts weren't easy. And I'm like, for me to not even lose a pound, like, come on,
Not
man.
only that, getting up at 5:15 every doggone day. Girl.
For real.
Right.
I could better use my
Right.
time, damn it.
Okay.
I'm going to go to bed. Shit.
And that's like pretty much been consistently what my body's been doing for the last couple years is not losing weight, but not gaining weight.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
And that's whether I'm trying to lose weight, working out, eating healthy. I did kind of do like this keto program for a little bit, and I lost like 6 or 7 pounds of, that was just water weight.
Mm-hmm.
So as soon as I stopped, it came right back to the weight I started with. So that's been consistently the thing. But I did learn like endometriosis, yes, weight loss it's possible, but it's a lot harder than it is for a normal person
Mm-hmm.
because you have to address the inflammation. And to address the inflammation, yes, a whole lifestyle change. And we all know that that's very difficult too. And I mean, some of these ladies on these endometriosis pages, they've cut out sugar, they've cut out dairy. Some have also cut out meat.
Mm.
So they're just eating vegetables, fruit, some grains, and not even all. I'm like, I can't do that for the rest of my
Look, they done
life.
turned vegan or vegetarian just to
Mm-hmm.
try and get some sense of relief.
Right. And it hasn't worked for
Yeah.
everybody. Some women was like, I've done all that and it has not helped
Mm.
whatsoever. Some women feel like it's helped their pain tremendously, but it just varies from person to person.
Right.
I'm like, I'm not about to deprive myself like that.
Okay,
No.
look, stop
But
eating the meat and still not get the results she's looking
Mm-mm.
for. Girl, go eat you a steak.
Mm-hmm.
oh, it's so funny. Right. Some people just only cut out red meat though. Like they still eat chicken and fish, and that's been, good. But I did get a dietitian through my doctor's office that specializes in women with hormonal issues. So a lot of her clients have like PCOS or endometriosis, and her goal is to help you get a lifestyle change, help you balance your hormones, like all of that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And really, she tries to teach you to eat. And it's not even like she tells you to cut out everything. She doesn't believe in that. And she believes in a slow transition, she's like, this is not going to happen overnight. She
Mm-hmm.
let me know that at the beginning. But she encourages you to try and eat a lot of anti-inflammatory foods. Um, Eat less the junk, obviously, but again, she doesn't tell you to completely cut it out. She actually tries to teach you, like, hey, if you want this sort of thing, or like you like sweets, try and maybe plan when you're going to have those sweets.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, cutting out everything was never the goal for her. So I've learned a lot about anti-inflammatory foods.
I
Lisa, were
was
you
going to
about to say
ask you, what
something?
are some examples of anti-inflammatory foods? Like what are some of your favorites?
Pineapple.
Pineapple.
I love
Girl,
pineapple, so I
okay.
was happy to hear that. Yes, that's anti-inflammatory. Turmeric, ginger, um, cruciferous vegetables are highly recommended for women in general, especially when you're on your period.
So
It's like
broccoli and cauliflower.
broccoli,
Look, because you saw my
cauliflower,
face. I was like,
It was
wait a
cabbage.
like
minute now.
she busted out the cruciferous. It was like, wait a minute.
Layman's terms for those of us that do not know official names of these food groups,
Mm.
girl.
All the stuff you eat, Lisa, it's got Brussels sprouts in
Look,
there
I eat
too.
all of that.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Hmm.
okay.
Highly recommended for women. So I feel like ladies out there on your period, let go of the sweets, let go of the chocolate,
I'm never letting
and
go
eat
of
you
the
some
Oh,
chocolate.
I'm
cruciferous
hearing nothing
veggies.
but blasphemy.
Mm-hmm.
Blasphemy.
I was like, that's the one time
Right,
I'll really get into the chocolate, okay?
right. I'm like, what is it about your body that I need to research this? Like, what makes us want those
I believe
things
it's
when?
magnesium deficiency.
During that time.
Because I'm like,
It's something that you're craving, like in that moment, but
mm-hmm,
chocolate isn't necessarily the worst. It's everything that they put in chocolate. So,
mm-hmm,
like,
and
cacao is better.
yeah, more pure forms of dark chocolate is actually really good for you too.
I don't
So,
want that.
Yeah, I don't do
I
dark
know.
chocolate
Go
either. That
ahead and
shit too
run
bitter
me
for
some
me.
Snickers, some Reese's, some Hershey's Kisses with
Mm,
almonds.
Milky
All
Way.
the
Yeah.
good stuff.
All the
Right.
terrible shit for you, please. That's what I want.
Facts. But at least I go into the gas station now instead of like, so that way I force myself to just get the individual size instead of the big bag
Hmm.
of things, you know?
Right. You don't want to keep
I
that in
did
the
that for a
house.
while. I was like, you want some? You gonna get you one candy bar and let that be that.
Now here's the kicker. Do you go in and get the regular or the king size?
King size.
Because
She's laughing like we know what
Look,
the answer
we all
is.
fall short.
we all fall short from the glory of God.
I
And
cannot.
girl, I ain't even go front. I be walking right up in there. Let me go ahead and get that king size Snickers.
Mm-hmm.
I might get a regular size Reese's with just the 2 cups, but trust that I'm walking up out that mug with a king size something.
Mm-mm.
Oh,
I
it's
get that
so
Kit Kat, boy.
funny.
That Kit Kat be speaking to me. Mm.
Oh God.
That is hilarious. But I did learn a couple things about myself working with this dietitian.
Hmm.
And like, let me mention she's super expensive, but in insurance, they don't cover her.
Oh, damn.
But she was worth it because I did learn a couple things about myself. And I mean, honestly, I think she's great. It's just really hard work.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it's really hard to get past those bad habits. It's really hard to not feel discouraged when the results aren't coming. Like you see other people and they're getting results. I could be doing the same thing. Admittedly, part of it is me not being consistent, but the other part, when I am consistent, it's like the results aren't there.
Mm.
So it's like I could be doing the same thing as someone else and they're seeing results, I'm not. That's the frustrating part about it.
Yeah.
But I did learn a couple things about myself. One of the things was, alcohol. She talked to me about alcohol usage and how that actually affects your
Mm.
hormones. It's very bad for someone like me
Hmm.
because I'm already estrogen dominant. That just makes that worse.
So, what does
And so,
estrogen dominant, like, what does that mean in terms of hormonal issues, particularly? You know?
like, you've got too much hormone. I mean, too much estrogen.
Right.
You produce too much.
Does that mean that that's why it's harder for you to lose weight? Like, what exactly does the estrogen heavy part
It generally
mean?
it can lead to issues like endometriosis
Hmm.
and you having PCOS or having fibroids.
So it like really knocks you just out of whack. And
Hmm.
okay.
Yeah. And then the other issue with me, which I learned this last year, was that I don't, I'm too low on testosterone.
Mm.
And as we all know, testosterone is the reason why men are able to lose weight the way they are able to.
By
So I'm like,
breathing.
okay, so the
Hmm.
women already have less testosterone than men, which is probably why women don't lose weight as well as men do.
Right.
But then I have less than I'm supposed to, which also hinders and makes the weight loss a lot more difficult. So, but she told me if I want to increase my testosterone naturally, I could do that by increasing my protein intake and through strength training. Mind you, that takes a very long time. It's
Hmm.
also not an overnight
Right.
change. Um, so I'm like, damn, nothing can happen overnight, huh?
Nothing that's worth it is, unfortunately.
What a weird
Right.
association that
But
strength training helps build your testosterone.
mhm, along with increased
Yeah.
protein. But yeah, like I haven't gotten to that like I should yet,
Hmm.
but I'm just at this point just trying to get in some kind of exercise
Yeah.
more consistently. Start like that's the starting
Yeah.
point.
Yeah. Consistency
But
is
I
just
mean,
a good foundation to build on.
yeah. And I'd rather do it that way. I don't want to have to do the synthetic hormone injections.
Mm-hmm.
And like last year, I don't remember if I talked about this in the first half, but I did the testosterone pellets, and that was before the surgery. But that made me feel great. Like I felt so energetic.
Hmm.
I had a lot more clarity, which I didn't realize the low testosterone causes me brain fog. It's a big part of the reason why I'm tired frequently. Like it causes a lot of issues. So when I had the testosterone pellets, I felt wonderful for a couple months. I felt so good, but I don't want to do that again because getting that injected hurt so bad.
Mm.
Like it hurt, and it wasn't getting those injected per se, but it was more so the lidocaine shot they give you to numb you
Mm.
before injecting it in your butt and your booty, your upper booty.
Wait a minute.
Your upper booty.
You getting this shot in your butt cheek? Okay,
They give
I'm
you they give you
clarifying.
the lidocaine
I'm,
shot. Yeah, they give you the
I'm
lidocaine shot,
clarifying for
and then
you.
what they do is they take this little tool that has the pellets in it, and it literally puts. Because I watched somebody I couldn't see it on myself, but after that, I watched someone get it done on YouTube,
Mm-mm.
and she pulled that little contraption out, and it was literally this big old hole in her skin and her butt. It looked disgusting.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, "Oh my god, is that what that was?" But by the time you look at it, because they patched it up and everything, it's like you barely see it. You just see this little dot that looks like a little, like, barely anything.
Mm-hmm.
But there's clearly bleeding because when they patch it up, you see the blood on the thing, and then it's just sore that day and maybe the next day. But they literally put a hole in your butt, in your upper
There
glute.
we go. Because I was like, you already got a hole in your butt.
Yeah,
Mm-mm.
and then right,
That's why I was like, your
Lisa.
butt
not that
cheek.
part,
Mm.
not that part of the butt. But they
Oh
literally
my god, you got an
have
extra
to put
butt
a
for the
hole.
butt. Mm.
Right. But they literally have to put a hole in there to put the pellets in there, and then they take their fingers and push the pellets in up under your skin. I know it just sounds so cringy and gross. And like after I saw someone else do it, it did kind of make me queasy.
Mm-hmm.
But that lidocaine shot was the worst part of it. It hurt so bad. I said, I'm not getting this done again. And they expect you to come and get it done like every 3 or 4 months. I'm not doing that to
Oh my
myself.
God, no. Mm-mm.
So trying to build it up naturally is what I'm going to have to do. But back to the alcohol, I did start noticing because I was like, I'm going to cut alcohol out for the most part. Her recommendation is one alcoholic beverage a week, no more than one a week. And now when I do drink one, maybe two beverages, I feel it. Like
Mm-hmm.
I really feel it. And she was like, you're probably feeling now. You're probably noticing how it actually makes you feel, as opposed to when you were used to drinking a little more socially and stuff. And now I don't really want to drink because it makes me feel like crap,
Mm-hmm.
very noticeably. So I may occasionally have like one drink socially or maybe a glass of wine, but I really barely drink anymore because now I'm like, oh, it makes me feel terrible. So that was another thing I learned. And then something else I learned through working with the dietitian is that I have a gluten intolerance. Never knew this before, but a lot of people with endometriosis have a gluten intolerance. So she had me eliminate it for 30 days. And then once I started, so this is an embarrassing symptom, but since I'm being transparent,
Hey, we appreciate it.
so I noticed like I would wake up extremely gassy every single morning.
Mm.
I'm like, why am I so gassy? I had no idea what it was. And then after I eliminated the gluten for 30 days, after probably like the first week, I started noticing, I was like, wait a minute, I have not passed gas, like at all.
Hmm.
And it's not like before with endometriosis where I literally couldn't pass gas
Mm-hmm.
because my body wasn't functioning. My bodily functions weren't allowing me to pass gas.
Dang.
Like I wasn't passing gas because it was the gluten giving me gas the entire time and I did
Oh
not know.
wow.
Yeah. And so I kind of tested it out after the 30 days. Well, during the 30 days, I noticed this is really bad when I have like a burger.
Mm.
And so I went to Red Robin with a friend and I had a gluten-free bun. And I was like, oh my gosh, I don't feel stuffed and bloated like I normally do when I have a burger.
Mm.
Like I felt just fine. Like my body was digesting it just fine. But then after the 30 days, I was like, let me try to have a burger
Uh.
with regular bread and see what happens. Right after I had that burger and I felt full the remainder of the day, like I couldn't eat nothing else.
Hmm.
And that's like a common symptom for me when I have a burger with regular bread.
Mm.
Not a problem with gluten-free bread.
Yeah.
And I thought it was the beef before. Now I know it's the bread. So the goal was to cut out gluten completely, but of course, that kind of failed because I went and had a fun weekend in Dallas, and I'm like, bruh, it's really hard
Bruh.
managing this gluten-free thing
Girl, okay?
when you're
All
eating
the good
out.
food.
Well, on vacation, I feel like it's all bets are off on vacation.
Right. So, but I've been eating it again, but I still don't eat it a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I'm still, because I don't eat it a lot, I'm not like super gassy in the mornings.
That's good.
So, I do like that I learned that about myself. But I learned a lot through her. I actually had my last session with her a couple weeks ago just because, like, financially, I was like, I need to take a break, but I may go back to her. But I feel like I did learn a lot from her and a lot about myself and how I should be eating. But my goal still is to ultimately really try to get that inflammation down. So I really got to incorporate a lot of those anti-inflammatory foods and leave that sugar alone because it just makes the inflammation worse.
Right. Sugar is the
So
worst thing,
it
unfortunately.
is. It's the devil.
We loves it, but it's the
And we
worst thing.
do. But you know what? Chloe has
Mm-hmm.
always been good at buying like a lot of sugar-free stuff.
Hold on. Wait a minute.
Drea is going to oppose that.
Hold on.
I know
Okay.
this.
So listen. There's now this article. I don't remember. I know I sent it to y'all because I knew Chloe was like, "Ah, damn." But there's now this article that says that there have been studies showing that sugar-free like alternatives or whatever, so like stevia, sweet and low, whatever, break down your DNA. Like literally tear your shit down. So they're worse than sugar.
I want to know what the result is breaking down your DNA.
I don't know. I will put the article that I saw in the show notes for sure. But I was like, I sent that to my mom and she's like, well, I'ma finish my fucking stevia. It's like, Mom.
Talk about being stubborn.
Oh
But
my
I
God.
don't
I was
blame her.
like,
She said, I
Mother.
done already spent my money. I'm not about to throw it
Hmm.
in the trash.
She's like,
Right.
fuck them. I was like, oh, okay. I mean, we could use that energy elsewhere, but okay.
I don't like sugar-free
But
stuff. But I just remember
yeah, I
that,
can't handle the
Chloe would not
taste.
only get it for herself, but she would be buying it for her teammates. And she
Mm-hmm.
always had something. So,
All the sugar freeze.
yeah.
I used to get them all the candy, all the sugar, but
Mm-hmm.
I'm not gonna lie, Dre. After you got on me about that a while ago, I was like, okay, I'll stop because I knew that it wasn't good for you,
Mm-hmm.
but I would rely on it because it did always kind of help me get on track with my diet.
Yeah.
But I was like, okay, I'm not gonna do that, and I'm gonna get back off them diet drinks.
Mm-hmm.
So I haven't been doing that.
That's good.
I actually told a friend recently because she was working on losing weight, and she was asking me like, "Are these drinks good?" They're like flavored drinks, and I thought she was talking about just like the flavored water at first, but then I figured out she was talking about the ones that have the artificial sweeteners in it. I was like, no, it's better to just drink a regular Coke
Mm.
if you're gonna do that.
Just get the real sugar. You know, your body knows what to
Yeah.
do with real sugar more than it knows what to do with the fake shit. So,
Yeah, so I definitely been sticking with the real sugar.
mm-hmm.
And I have my moments where I have more of it than I should, but I also have my moments where I don't really want much of it. So,
Mm-hmm.
it is what it is.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's my experience with the dietitian and me trying to get my health on track. And it's been a real struggle. Like I said, I don't lose weight, but I don't gain. The only time I noticed that I did gain, and I probably gained like 20 pounds over the last year,
Mm.
every time I switched birth control, my weight went up.
Oh, birth
Every single
control.
time.
Man, birth control.
And one of those times I was eating so bad, and then I didn't realize until later, until I looked up other people's experience with that birth control pill.
Mm-hmm.
It made them really hungry. So I was like, maybe that's what it was.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, every time I switched birth control, I gained weight. But other than that, like I don't gain or lose weight.
Hey, well, at least no
So I'm
gaining.
feeling like if I can get my activity on a regular basis, that may actually get my scale to start moving down.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just gonna keep working on that. But whew, endometriosis it don't do you no favors in any kind of way.
Yeah. Sorry.
But at least you're
Yeah.
taking the necessary steps now in this
Hmm.
recovery process. And so we can just hope that it will result in true results for you.
Yeah.
Thank you. I hope so.
What do
I
you
just got to keep on trying.
rolling, rolling? Or I was thinking of the engine that could, but I said rolling, rolling instead.
I
Never
was
mind.
thinking of, when you said that, I immediately started thinking of the old Walmart jingle. You remember that? Rolling, rolling,
No.
rolling. Keep those
Oh,
prices rolling,
just rolling,
rolling, rolling,
rolling.
rolling, roll back.
Lord.
It was originally from Fievel Goes West. Do you remember that cartoon?
No,
I do.
Rawhide.
I do remember that.
I do not remember that.
Oh my god, that was one of my favorites. I used to love
The
that one.
mouse, right? The mouse.
Yeah. Fievel. Oh
I
my
remember
god.
that.
But what was I about to say though? I got distracted by the song. Sorry.
My bad, B. My bad.
No, it's all good. I'm good for getting distracted by a song too. I'd be like, oh yeah, yeah. But no, I was just gonna ask you, like, so what do you think is probably the most beneficial thing you've learned about this whole entire process?
I one thing I've been hearing that I feel like is really interesting because my mom did tell me that she was told years ago that she had endometriosis,
Hmm.
even though I don't know how they knew that. I mean, maybe her symptoms, because usually they can't officially diagnose you unless you get the surgery, which she never had. And the crazy thing is, she never had issues with it after having kids.
Hmm.
But I've been hearing that they think that it's passed on from your mom. So that may have been the cause for me. I don't know. You know,
Lord.
the women's is blaming relaxers these days, but
I mean,
they're blaming that on
Man,
everything.
dude, what
yeah.
in the world?
Mm-mm.
I don't know. Maybe there is some link to it. At this point, the amount of women that continue to be diagnosed with it, it may be a true
It's
link to it.
growing.
Yeah, it may be.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but what about women that aren't black? There's plenty of
I mean,
them.
that's true, but
It's true.
it could be something.
Hmm.
There's
Like
relaxers,
hair
but it's just the
chemicals or
chemicals in
something.
general because women,
Cause perms back in the day
yeah,
too.
there's plenty of different
All that
Hmm.
treatments and
ammonia
stuff that other women get in their hair that are not
or
related to
nail care.
relaxers. Yeah. Yep, the different
Dyes and
dyes, all that stuff.
all that stuff. But
Mm-hmm.
although I still wholeheartedly believe a big link, aside from now knowing that it may actually be getting passed down from mother to daughter, just the food we eat,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
and other environmental factors, stuff that you're putting on your skin. Like, I didn't realize how bad it really is to put perfume on your skin, and
Hmm.
it's a lot of stuff in the products we
Well, where else are
use.
Yeah, I've
you
never
supposed to
heard that
put it?
before. Hold on.
I mean, really, we shouldn't be using it. Just like we shouldn't be using lotions or body washes or shampoos and conditioners with parabens in it. But a lot of those products have that stuff.
Mm.
I love me a
See,
good
I
smell
don't
good.
know.
I can't get rid of my perfumes now.
Yeah, I don't know. That's just the
I'm not getting rid
perfume
of
has
my
been used
perfume.
since Egyptian days. I don't know. I feel like there's certain things I'm not willing to let go of all the way.
I'm not, even though it may be a factor in a lot of these
Mm-hmm.
issues just people in general have now.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's also like the debate between science using like the science that people are using for quote unquote green products versus your typical body wash and stuff like that. Because there's also problems with if you don't have preservatives, you're breeding bacteria in your products. So, like, do you want all this bacteria on your face, or do you just want this preservative that's going to kill all that stuff? Or are you going to make your own at home, which it still won't be nearly as effective because it's not formulated correctly? So, I don't know. There's a whole bunch of stuff
It's a catch-22,
Yeah,
really.
pick your poison, baby. Everybody's gonna die from something, so
Okay.
pick your
Mhm.
poison.
And then, I mean, maybe there's certain products you can switch out. And, like, for
Mm-hmm.
me, another thing I discussed with my dietitian is slowly switching out my regular cleaning products for, like, all natural cleaning products. That's an
Yeah.
easy one.
Mm-hmm. I'm for that too.
Um,
Like,
because that's not good to really get in your system either. That also disrupts the hormones, which is the last thing I need.
mm-hmm.
So that's one thing that I'm actually gonna change up. I've already switched to what do you call that,
Bonner.
Dr. Bonner's.
Mm-hmm.
I used to use his soap to bath with, but
To
I've been
bath
using that
with.
to bathe, bath, shower.
You said it's so hard to
But
bath
To
with.
bath with. They was like, wait a minute, I'm pretty sure there's an E on the end of that
I
base.
know, right? I was like, wait a minute, babe. We
take a
bathing
bath,
now.
excuse me.
But then again,
But I've been using his products to clean now, or his soap to clean now, and I've always
Mm,
liked using vinegar, so I've been using that
I
more
love
frequently.
that.
Like, I'm
yeah.
trying to switch, but I've been really like cleaning with gloves. Like, clean with gloves.
Mm,
I'll do my dishes with gloves now because it really isn't good to have all that stuff being absorbed in your
that's a
skin.
good
So I'm like,
idea.
there's
Yeah.
some things I can actually make the switch on to maybe help myself a
Yeah.
little more.
That's true. All that dish soap, it's just
Yeah.
sitting there in your fingers. Your skin is only so impermeable.
Yes, and it was drying the heck out of my hands so bad. I
Mm-hmm.
was like, yeah, let me get some gloves.
Small
But
changes.
yeah, I mean, there's some environmental things that we can change to maybe prevent some of these issues. But really, like, nobody knows at this point, how do you prevent fibroids? How do you prevent endometriosis? Nobody knows the exact answers to these
Yeah.
things, and that's the worst part about it. I'm like, I don't know if it's because they don't do enough research when it comes to women's health, but
Maybe part of
they
it.
don't have a solid answer on what causes these things.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, short of living off in a mountain peak somewhere where pollution doesn't reach you, like, who really can say for sure what is what, you know?
Right.
Because even then, pollution is everywhere, even if you aren't the ones putting it out there. So
Mm-hmm.
who
You know,
knows?
your liver is supposed to be able to help
Hmm.
clean some of that out of your body.
I would say for me, this is my own internal theory. I think sleep deprivation affects us far more than people really think because sleep is where you're replacing all the bad cells, the cancerous cells, the ones that are going crazy. Like, if you're not sleeping, you're not repairing. And I feel like a lot of the world's problems would be solved if everybody would just get some sleep.
I would believe
Some
that.
good
Hmm.
rest.
And water. Hydration is my thing.
Yep.
Oh my God, y'all, I'm realizing half my life I've been dehydrated. I'm dead
What you been
serious too. I was like,
drinking?
oh my God,
Why'd you just come to
barely
that
anything.
realization?
Just because, like, looking at some symptoms, and like when I actually did take the time to drink more than like 60 ounces, I found out I have a kidney stone.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, I don't know when that's gonna drop. It could be any time, but I probably have had it for a long time because I don't do good with drinking water. And I don't know, I'm realizing the more I've made a point to drink water, the more my foggy brain is left. And I'm like, bitch, I've been
Mm.
foggy brain my whole life, unable to like fully be awake. And I think it's all water related.
Uh-uh. Ooh, girl,
Isn't
So
it crazy
I'm
when you
praying for
drink more
you
realize
with
water.
this
certain
kidney
things?
stone, though.
Right.
Mm, yeah, I don't know when that's going to go down, if ever, because I mean, it's just one of those things.
Oh, well, I'm gonna tell my one friend about how you can get kidney stones from not drinking water, because
Yeah,
she
dehydration.
drinks one 16.9-ounce bottle of water per day.
That's not enough.
I'd be good if I did that. I'm telling you, I've been dehydrated for a long
Wait a minute.
time.
Even now you're not doing that?
Oh no, I'm doing it now, but I'm
Oh,
telling because
okay.
I understand what my brain and like my healthy, like even becoming regular bowel movements and stuff like that. I fully believe that most of my 20s, I was dehydrated.
Hmm.
Fully believe that. because I'm like,
So crazy.
I'm taking care of it
Stuff you
now.
don't notice.
Yeah, exactly. But now I notice all the things. I'm like, huh, that's interesting.
And it's good when you like pay attention to, like I said, like a lot of my symptoms I had no idea was coming from, like my brain fog,
Mm-hmm.
my feeling tired a lot. Didn't know that was coming from my low testosterone levels.
Yeah.
Also, and I don't think it's my endometriosis right now because I'm not experiencing the pain, but I was exhausted a lot of time when I was not on birth control because being in pain so frequently makes you exhausted. And I slept so much, I was tired, but I just slept because I didn't want to be in pain.
Mm.
But yeah,
That's
I
crazy.
do get a lot of brain fog, and I know that has to do with the testosterone. I do feel tired frequently, but I know when I get into these regular workouts, some of that tiredness is going to go away with that.
Yup.
You ever find out anything about yourself health wise, Lisa, that you kind of dawned on you, like with me and Drea?
Mm.
Needing to, the funny thing is that I drink more water than anything else. But I need like an abundance of water. Um, ever since, so I do for like my water bottle, like with this, I don't even know how many ounces this is, but this and the one that I use like in the gym, I can fill this up literally like 6, maybe 7 times a day.
That
Um,
looks like a 24 ounce or something.
and
Mm-hmm.
I'm good. Honestly, this has made me more regular than I have ever been. I also think what is really good for my body, ever since that I have been consistently being back in the gym and just being more mindful of what I'm eating, that has truly just made a difference overall. Like having that consistency is not to say that I don't eat bad, that I don't enjoy myself, because yes, I do, big time. I'm still living a good life. But
She a foodie for
yeah,
real.
I am a foodie for real, and that will never go away. But I make more
Facts.
good decisions than the bad decisions. And honestly, that has helped me tremendously. The only thing that I am still trying to get back on track that has been taking longer is like my skin, because I'd never had skin problems before. Like even with like being in high school and stuff, I didn't have acne problems or things of that nature. Now being an adult, it has been so finicky, especially when like I recognize that the things that I eat impact my skin immediately. If I have a bad weekend, I know that my face is going to break out on
That's
the weekends when
crazy.
I'm eating bad and things of that nature. And then when I get back on track, like say Monday, get back on track, eating better, not drinking alcohol, just going back to my water intake, then my skin clears up. But it's like this continuous cycle. But I mean, you already know I'm not gonna cut it all out. we gonna
Mm-hmm.
figure it out, okay?
We gonna live this life,
Facts. We
okay?
gonna figure it out. But yeah, honestly, I think that's the biggest thing now for me is recognizing that there has to be something in the things that I'm eating, even with me cutting out like dairy and whatnot. I still have
Processed
dairy, but
sugar.
it's not on the level that it used to be. Um,
Mm-hmm.
I have more almond milk, like the almond milk, coconut milk, oat milk that I use as substitutes, even with cooking now. I don't even buy like the cow's milk. I don't even
Mm-hmm.
remember the last time that I bought cow's milk. So
You said the cow's
the
milk, like
cow's
Prince.
milk.
I don't do cow's milk. So funny.
I just started sticking with almond milk years ago just because just thinking about regular milk from an animal just grossed me out. I still will do some cheese though. I'm not big on cheese. I know if I have too much dairy, it's gonna tear my stomach up.
Yep.
Yeah.
So that's the reason why I don't really fool with a lot of dairy, but I still do like my cheese on certain things, and I'm not a big cheese eater alone. It just has to be something to eat cheese on, like pizza or something.
Mm-hmm.
And I still like my ice cream occasionally, but I don't really do dairy otherwise.
Yeah. I find too, like the higher quality I get, like if I don't have stuff with a lot of preservatives like the gums and whatnot, like what is it, xanthan gum and all that. Like I've been getting
Mhm.
almond milk without all the gum. So it's just basically almond milk and vanilla, something like that. If I get stuff that's more pure like that, my skin is far better because I feel like if I get shitty chocolate like Kit Kat bars versus the Lindt truffles or whatever, like if it's a better quality chocolate, I'm not suffering nearly as much. So
It's so
it's
crazy.
more expensive, but I feel like my quality of life has improved dramatically, letting go a lot of the shit food as well.
I know it is expensive though. I've been trying to
Mhm.
buy organic more frequently, but I mean, I did get a list from my dietitian of what produce you can get away with not buying
Hmm.
organic, and then the ones that you should buy organic.
Can you share that? Because I would like to
I
know.
sure will.
Mhm.
She gave me a lot of good resources I can share with y'all. There's an anti-inflammatory drink that I've been planning on making, still haven't,
Hmm.
but I can send y'all that too if you're interested.
Yeah.
Yes, and it. We'll drop it in the
But
show notes.
Mhm.
one last thing that I did get from her that I forgot to mention was I'm on some daily supplements that she recommended. So one of them is called what's it called? Estrofactors.
Mm.
And that's supposed to help me regulate my estrogen levels. I'm on another one called Inflammatone,
Mm.
and that's supposed to help me get my inflammation down. And then I'm on omega-3 fatty acids, which that's good for a lot of stuff.
Mhm.
Um,
Brain function and
and
all that.
then I'm on magnesium glycinate, which that helps make you. I take that at night. It helps make you regular as far as using the bathroom.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Helps with digestion,
Lisa
and
know
it
about that.
helps
Club,
right,
because
and it
I
helps.
took close suggestion with that, and so I added it into
Okay,
my like my regimen. I still have the container of it. I don't take it every day, but maybe like a couple times out of
mhm,
the week. I'll take like one or two before bed, and yeah, it helps.
and it also helps with sleep
Hmm.
regulation.
Hmm.
So I was like, oh, maybe that's why. I didn't realize it. One day I was like, I've been falling asleep like quick, and I was like, maybe that's why. Not even realize it.
Hmm.
Like I will barely be able to keep my eyes open a lot of nights.
That's good.
But yeah, I'm hoping after using those supplements and just doing what I need to do, all that helps, especially the inflammatone and the estro factors.
Mhm. Heck yeah. We'll put all that in
But
the
is there
show
anything else
notes.
y'all wanted to know about this journey of mine?
How do you feel now? Like, I know you said you're kind of torn and stuff, but like overall, compared to where you were a year ago, how do you feel?
Um,
And would you recommend the
I don't know if you're gonna
surgery?
like this answer,
Mm.
but I feel like as long as I'm on birth control, I'm gonna feel fine. Like I shouldn't have to rely on that. Um, but I mean,
At least you have it at your disposal. I mean, shoot.
yeah, like at least I have something because literally, when you're in that kind of pain, like there's nothing the doctors are even allowed to give you to help.
Mm.
Even though I did see some new product recently, or a new medication recently. I can't remember the name of it. I feel like I sent it to one of y'all one day. One or both of y'all, maybe. Or maybe it
Maybe.
was someone else. But there's a new medication on the market that's supposed to help women with endometriosis and fibroid
Hmm.
pain.
Hmm. I don't think you sent
Yeah,
it
I'm
to
like, I
me.
could have used that.
Mm.
But yeah, because they're not allowed to just be giving you strong narcotics or anything, which is crazy. Because I'm like,
Top
the
five
pain calls
worst
for that.
pain. Right.
Right. Like, and even after a while, some of that stuff doesn't even touch the pain. You just got to be laying in bed, cringing and sweating like you having birth contractions
Oh.
every single month. But I feel good in comparison to how I felt last year.
It's a step in the right direction.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely a step in the right direction. I feel like I've been living my life as opposed to before. I just planned my life around my periods.
Mm.
So
And you be booked
much
and
better.
busy
But I hope
too.
that
Hey.
I
Okay.
am so busy. So many
Mm-hmm.
trips planned and so many plans in general. But
Yay.
I just hope we can figure out a way to where I don't have to be in the birth control at all anymore. Like,
Mm-hmm.
whatever is going on with me to still be having the pain where I'm having it, if I'm not in birth control, I just want to get that figured out.
Yeah. Well, maybe technology in the next year or two, you know, maybe it'll really pick up. You'll be able to figure
It
out
would be
something
nice.
else.
It would be nice. I think if it affected more men, because there's a very small number of reported cases of men having endometriosis. It's like eight known cases.
Wow.
If it were more, maybe we'd have more answers.
Right. You know, they'd be trying to get that shit fixed real fast.
Right, because they couldn't handle the pain. They couldn't even handle the pain of a regular period, let alone this
Right.
mess.
Facts.
But yeah, I'm feeling pretty great these days and enjoying my life.
Yay.
I think
Get your life.
I think that's a good way to wrap this up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Anything else you want to tell the people, Chloe?
No, nothing. I got nothing.
I got nothing.
That's all I got. Look, that's all we got. We ain't got no more. If y'all have lasted this last hour and like 15 minutes and you still have not hit that little notification bell, come on, baby. Let's do it.
Right? Come join us on the other side.
Right? You know you want to be a CoCo babe. Like,
hey, and even let us know if you got some topics you want us to discuss.
Right. You got to drop down into the
hear
comments.
from y'all.
Let us know.
CoCo Convos Pod on all social platforms.
Yes, sir. Until next time.
Bye. Bye.
Bye-bye.